Okay, now we already covered options and also forward and futures. So both of that are a category of a derivative. So now next category of a derivative, which is swap. So what is swap? Swap is an agreement between two parties to exchange a cash flow. So they are swapping a cash flow. Usually it's done because each party prefers the contract term of the other party. That is one possibility. So A prefer to pay variable rate and receive fixed rate. B prefer to pay fixed rate and receive variable rate. This another potential reason also is these swaps allow companies to better manage their risk by shifting the risk to another party. So the more risk averse party can give the more risky term to the other party that is willing to take some risk but for a price. And so they are swapping a more stable cash flow with a more risky cash flow. Okay, but for a price. Okay, so we will discuss two of this type of swap in this slide, which is interest rate swap and also currency swap. So the first type is currency swap. Okay, imagine company A is a US company and company B is a UK company. So the US company have some liability in USD lah. They issue a bond in USD, so they have to pay liability in USD. And the UK company have liability in GBP, British pound. So they have liability in British pound. However, this company, they have some income in pound. Maybe they have a business in the UK, maybe. So they have some income in pound. While this one, they have a income in USD. So what they do? They will swap their currencies. So usually the amount that they agree to swap is in this format. So it's a percent on a nominal amount. Usually when you have an interest rate on a nominal amount, this is like an interest payment lah. So yes, they are actually swapping interest payments. So nominal amount is like a principal amount lah. So 7% of $1.25 million is 82.5k dollars USD, and then for the US company, they will pay 60k in pound. Okay, so every swap time they will swap this amount. Okay, next will be interest rate swap. Okay, now interest rate swap. So like before, they are swapping interest payments, but the agreement it will look as follows. One of the party will pay variable rate, so it will be variable rate. Sometimes they based on like interbank rate, for example. It used to be LIBOR, so it's LIBOR plus 2%, so then something like that. So it depends on this variable. Okay, so one party will pay variable rate times the notional amount. So for example, like $1 million. $1 million, okay? And then the other party will pay fixed rate times that fixed rate times the agreed notional amount also. For example, it's the same, $1 million. Okay. I think usually it's always the same, the notional amount. So they just vary the rate, the interest rate. So one party will pay this, and then the other party will pay this. Okay. So it can be as this diagram. Company A, it have a liability, a fixed liability, but they prefer to pay a floating rate and receive the fixed rate and pay their liability fixed. Company B, they prefer stability, so they want to pay fixed rate
but they have a liability of a floating rate, so they prefer to pay with stability but receive the floating rate to pay his liability. Okay, that is one potential example, because one party wants the term of the other party. Second example would be company A. They don't even have this liability. They are risk level, and they don't mind taking some risk for a price. So they are willing to receive a less stability and take more risk by paying variable rate. While company B wants stability, so he prefer to swap so that he can pay fixed and receive floating, so that he can pay his liability. Okay, so two example. One, they want to switch term, and the second, because one company can take the risk of the other company. Okay. Alright, so when during a swap, it will be as follows. Like, one will pay the variable rate. Let's say if we calculate this, the variable rate will be, this one will pay A. Company A will pay A amount, and company B will pay B amount. So what company A will get is, it pays A but it receives B. So the net swap payment is A minus B. As for B, as for company B, it pays B but it gets A. So net swap, that is his net swap payment. So as you can see, the net swap payment of these two are just the negative sign. Okay, so if this one is positive, this one will be negative. The positive means they are paying some amount. If one is negative, means one is receiving that same amount. So every swap payment, they will just swap the net, and one party will be receiving, one party will be paying. Okay. For the currency swap, both will swap because they are swapping different currency. But for this one, they will just offset the what they pay and what they receive. Okay, one more thing. How do they set this variable rate and this fixed rate? There's a few ways. Sometimes they just try to set so that it's a win-win situation for both. Because of this swap, both will be better off. Or for SOA, that they have this specific way that they set this fixed rate.